I made my own modded skyblock in vanilla Minecraft without any mods. Years ago, before data packs even existed, one of my best creations was a custom skyblock map that ran using a load of command blocks. And today, I've revived that map in the form of a brand new data pack modded skyblock. In this video, I'll be playing through the early game of the project, explaining the intended progression tree, pun intended. And if you want to play this for yourself, I've put a download link to the pack in the video's description. I started how Minecraft normally starts, by punching a tree. However, unlike normal skyblocks, while I did have a useful chest providing bonus goodies, you would notice that it's a bit more sparse than normal. All I start with is simply a bucket of water and a bucket of lava, and nothing else. So, armed with this, I quickly made a cobblestone generator and got to mining. Much like other skyblocks, this one also centers on cobblestone generation, just in a somewhat unique way. From here, I made a different tool than you might be expecting. I crafted a stone hammer. This hammer lets you smash blocks into more crushed versions, in this case turning cobblestone into gravel. Gravel will be very important later, but for now I simply used it to get us some more dirt supplies. By crafting coarse dirt, you can turn 2 dirt into 4 coarse dirt. Then, with a hoe, you can turn all 4 back into dirt, increasing your total amount of dirt. With some basic tools acquired and a decent start going, I set my eyes on the next goal, which is to obtain a sifter. The sifter will allow me to take various crushed blocks, like gravel, and occasionally find valuable items hidden inside. However, I need string to be able to craft this, so before I can get going on sifting, I would need to bridge out and build at least a small mob farm. So I ground out mining away at the cobblestone generator to obtain the building blocks I would need. I went with a really quick and simple cobblestone slab platform built just a little ways away from the island. The idea was that at night I would be able to keep my distance and a few mobs would spawn and I could kill them. This worked right away, though I got a skeleton to spawn instead of a spider. Still not bad, as bones would let me grow the tree faster or even obtain seeds, which I really need as you don't start with any food. But after running back and forth a few times, it wasn't too long before I got a few spiders to spawn. And after quickly and professionally taking them out, I had all the string that I would need for now. So, with string acquired, I crafted the sifter. And here is where the pack starts to pick up a bit. As you can see, once you get the sifter, the advancements start to branch like crazy. Plenty of resources can be obtained through sifting, and thus it is essential to the progression. I started by sifting a bit of gravel I had lying around, and quickly got a pointed dripstone, some coal, and even a bit of iron. And from here, it was clear that the next step in my progression would require a lot of gravel. So I got to sifting. Cue the montage. I ended up getting quite a bit of resources, which I used to make some upgrades. But at this point, my food was getting rather low, so I grabbed a bunch more gravel utilizing those new upgrades, and used it to make some more dirt. This time, the goal was to sift the dirt and hopefully find some crop seeds. And so from there, I sifted a bunch of gravel and dirt.
2 hours later.
I had successfully hit a good chunk of those initial goals. I had some good starter resources, some food going, so I just had to determine what to do next. From here, the name of the game was, well, Minecraft, but the goal was to get a bunch of expansion going. Though before I could expand too much, I needed to get infinite water. I used this trick I saw Dockim show off on his recent Skyblock, which was to use glass bottles to fill up a cauldron. Having infinite water would be useful for all kinds of things, but my next goal was a proper mob farm. And so after grinding away at the cobblestone generator, I started building a mob farm, and finished building it. Not exactly a notable design, but it is a Skyblock classic, so I went simple. This secured a strong supply of bones and more importantly string, which allowed me to make a ton more sifters. And so from here I set a weight on my mouse and let it get to mining. I needed gravel. Lots of gravel. 18 stacks later I was ready to sift. And after 10 minutes of sifting, I had loads of resources acquired. Most importantly, a single diamond. Why was this diamond so important? Well, plenty of machines in the pack require at least one diamond in the recipe. And so what did I decide to make with this valuable diamond? Well, my choices were between the placer, the breaker, the mob fan, and the extruder. The extruder would let me obtain all the different types of stone, some of which gate us at the moment. The placer would make for easier automation of some stuff, but in this case a dropper is just as good, at least for automating sifting. The mob fan, while nice, wouldn't really do a ton, so I pushed it aside. So the obvious choice was the breaker. This would allow me to automate the mining of the cobblestone generator. And if I put hammers inside the breaker, they will work and automate gravel. So with this new breaker acquired, I started building a new platform to house various automations and machines. Oh, and I also switched to golden carrots for food, as I have a decent amount of gold, but not much to actually do with it. From here, I started making a new cobblestone generator. I went with this pretty simple design. It basically uses the hammers to break the block, which then drops down into this water stream across the sifters. The amount of sifters is kind of overkill, but I figured I might as well make it expandable for later. So now I just gotta supply it with hammers and I get auto-sifted gravel. With resources now coming in automatically, I was in a pretty good spot. So, from here, my next goal was to expand further and get more organized. So I built a big ugly platform, then built another big ugly platform, this one with crops on it. And from here I realized one of the next progression steps I would likely need to make would be soul sand. To get soul sand, I needed a bone hammer to turn sand into soul sand. With soul sand acquired, I sifted through it and got myself various nether items. The important ones being the blaze rods, quartz, and blackstone. With blackstone, I can make the extruder that will allow me to get all the other stone types to be unlocked. While this is mostly for decoration, some of the stone types do have a bit of progression locked behind them. But for now, I was mostly focused on cleaning up, making a bit of a storage room, farming area, and general resource production. I did get a decent start on storage. This will of course be expanded on more later. And I did also end up getting another diamond, which I decided to invest into another block breaker to double the gravel sifting speeds. With these upgrades done and storage sorted, at least for now, I set my sights on obtaining some new resource types that would allow for further progression. The two I wanted most were clay and mud. Mud is easy, just water plus dirt equals mud. But I knew that I would need a lot of dirt, so I decided to upgrade to some better tools for the job. The big hoe and excavator made the task a whole lot faster. And the other resource I was interested in was clay. Clay could be sifted for some valuable stuff, but much more importantly, it can be made into pot. Bonsai pots, to be exact. But I would need a saturator to make it. Luckily, I already had all the resources I needed to make the saturator. Upon using the saturator to turn sand into clay, and also sifting some mud until I found mangrove propagules, I was able to set up some bonsai pots to automatically grow these trees for me. It is rather slow, but passive income, baby! And so, at this point, I had semi-automated a huge chunk of resources in the pack. So I set my sights on making the final couple bits of required progression. One of the final pieces of progression that I still wanted to achieve was to gain access to the ore extruder, which would output diamonds and other ores at a significantly higher rate than through sifting. However, the recipe required deep slate, which I currently don't have. And I have two routes to get there. I can either use the extruder, as mentioned earlier, that turns cobblestone into other stone types, but I didn't want to go that route yet, simply because the recipe required another diamond. So instead I went with the other route, the compactor. This machine is made for auto-crafting items into their more compact forms, such as iron nuggets into iron ingots. The one new recipe it has is the ability to compress cobblestone into deep slate. And with that crafter crafted, I crafted a compactor. Then I compressed the cobblestone I needed into a single deep slate. And this was great. The only issue that I had left was that I needed a diamond pickaxe to obtain the obsidian needed for the recipe of the ore extruder. But luckily, that is something that you can get from villagers. And so after making some potions, and curing a zombie villager, and then trading with the blacksmith, I had myself some shiny new tools. Not only could I use these to grab the obsidian that I needed, but the diamond pickaxes would also be useful in quite a few recipes. And with that, I could finally craft the ore extruder. With the ore extruder, as long as I keep it fueled with water and lava, I can automate the production of ores in a much faster manner than sifting. And as you can see, I already had the foresight to make a lava farm, and water is easy. I had also gotten lucky enough that my villager friend's pickaxe has silk touch on it. By borrowing one of the block breakers, automating this is actually rather trivial. Though I do still need to automate the input of water and lava, but for that I can use fluid pipes. The fluid pipe will automatically generate water when placed next to a source block, inputting it into the ore extruder. So that just leaves lava, which is a project for another time. In the process of setting all of that up, I got lucky and it extruded a diamond ore. Luckily, as we now have one spare diamond from sifting, I can put the pickaxe trade to good use and make a crusher. This is a block that basically just crushes anything placed on top of it, and can be used for automating resources, but more importantly in our case, can be used to turn ores into chunks. These chunks, when placed in the washer that I just crafted, turn into their ingot form. And just like that, the 1 diamond ore turned into 3 diamonds. And so, while there is plenty of other stuff to do, that is definitely a great ending point for the episode. Let me know if y'all liked the video, and if you did, I will make sure to make another one. And if you want to play the data pack for yourself, I will have a download link to it in the video's description. Thanks for watching.